Okay. Alright, so on to the magical properties. I'm already at 13 minutes. Alright, so the magical properties include lunar magic and magic spells that include things for family protection, personal healing or healing for someone, and obviously anything that you would use for bringing about a good atmosphere in your home. And why would this be a mothering plant? Why would this be some plant that you would consider good for your home? Followed a lady's blog, and she mentioned that this plant is a plant that, because of its babies and things like that, is something that women in her family have passed down for generations. Here's some more babies. And when I say that, what I mean is like her mother gave her a baby off of a plant that was a baby of her mother's plant, who was a baby off of her great-grandmother's plant, and it just goes on and on. Even this smaller, you see that? Even this smaller plant has a baby coming up already. See it? Right there. So you can see how this could be a very powerful maternal plant. The protection with the spines and such show that this is a protector plant, and it can stick you, especially if you're caught off guard with it. So it's the kind of thing where it's a really good protector for your home. It's been used to ward off evil spirits, negative energy, to keep the peace in your house, to aid in healing, even if it's not topically applied, even if it's just in the room with a sick person or an injured person. It's going to bring about speedy healing and speedy recovery. I hope you're seeing this good enough. Now, if you need to cut it off, try to attune with the plant and ask for permission to do that. I know that sounds kooky, but don't just cut off the plant because of a minor, no need kind of issue, something that you could easily put a Band-Aid on, and it would be fine as far as a cut or scratch. But if it's a burn or something and you really want it to, use for that kind of purpose, that's why you have it in your home, for protection and for healing, then take a piece with a sharp knife and cut it off. But know that that limb is never going to recover. That's never going to grow back. It's always going to be closed off right there. It sealed itself up. That will be fine. You could use that part, but it's not ever going to reach out and grow again like these longer shoots. Okay, so that's good to know. I did leave a piece on here. Oh, I'm getting crazy here. This part, you would normally cut this off. I left it on for you to see. But when you cut this off, let this dry, and it'll shrivel up into small little pieces of plant that you could crumble and put in incense to burn for its healing properties. Okay, this as well. I could take this here. I could take this piece off and use it for the gel that's inside of it, or I could take it off and use it for. Let's see, I'm having trouble here. Or you could take it off and have it for this. See how it's bent and hanging down? Could use that for the gel, or I could use it, tear it off, and make a dried piece to use in incense and things like that. So it's got a lot of properties. Aside from just using it as a house plant or using it for the aloe gel that's inside of it, it's often thought of as a plant that would prevent fires in the house. Again, a reason for it to be called burn plant. Keep it in your kitchen and it prevents kitchen fires. So that's another traditional idea associated with this plant. Now over here I have some rose quartz stuck in this plant because it is a plant of love and nurturing and mothering. All those babies, right? I even keep aloe quartz next to it, rose quartz. I've got some rose hips here because of their love and happiness. And then some dried aloe here. And if I were to make a love or protection or happiness spell, then I could use that, or a mojo bag, I would use that stuff in it. And it's imbued with the properties of the aloe too, having been here with it. I have an aloe wand. Aloe wand. Good Lord. I have a willow wand, which is a lunar wood. And just like the aloe plant, which is a lunar plant, they work well together for lunar or moon magic. So that's just something good to know. And if you're trying to create a spell or something using the two, or using multiple lunar correspondences, that's one way to go. You can see I keep some hen and chicks in here, these little plants. It's a hen and chick. It doesn't have any babies yet, but it will. Do you see them? See the hen and chick plant next to the rose quartz. Hen and chick puts out little babies too. This one doesn't have any yet. It's also a plant associated with love and nurturing and protection. So I keep it, and it doesn't need as much space when it's a baby. I keep it in here with the aloe plant because they seem to go with each other, and they're both succulents, so they like the same living conditions. In this plant, I don't know if you can see that. I also have a hen and chick plant here. And I've just watered these, so they normally would not stay this wet. Again, they like dry, they like neglect, but they do need water every now and then, just like anything else. So this is not their normal state, saturated in water. Okay, so just some ideas. If you are making a spell with aloe, you could leave the plant in its pot and work magic with it. You can set it on your altar and draw from its energies. You can ask it to participate in lending its energies to your spell, or whatever it is you're trying to do. If you do need to cut something off, cut it off with a sharp knife, something that it's not going to damage the plant. You see that it heals back up, and so you don't want it to, be lacerated and jagged. It'll seal itself back up if you give it a nice clean cut to work with. The other stuff, I'm just going to kind of read to you. There's some folklore that says if you burn aloe leaves on the night of the full moon, you can attract a lover by the time the moon is new. And that would be like the little pieces that I showed you that are dried up that you could crumble and put in your incense. That's what I'm talking about for that. You can hang it in your home for protection. When I say hang, it's a common tradition in Mexico to cut off big limbs. Of course, their plants are going to be much bigger than mine because they can put theirs in the ground, leave it there, and grow in the wild. Though there's not many that grow in the wild. They're mostly commercial if they're growing in the wild anymore. Okay, so anyway, you can hang big slices of it on a wreath and then put lodestones and pine nuts, and there's some other things that they would put on this wreath, and it's a wreath that they put on their front door for protection. You can use it for spiritual baths to restore balance or to banish sickness, or you can bathe with it to block evil or negativity. I make soaps, and sometimes I put aloe gel in with the fats and things when I'm making the soap and create, a magical soap for healing purposes using that, or protection. I think I've already said that it can keep evil out of the home, that it protects from accidents. It's used for luck, protection, water, lunar magic. I've said that a dozen times now, sorry. It's sacred to Aphrodite, who is also Venus. Selene, Diana, all the moon goddesses would be great deities to work with when you're using aloe plants for magic. It's a feminine plant related mostly to the sign of Cancer, which makes sense. If it's 99% water and you use it for moon magic, then the sign that it goes best with would be Cancer. However, if you were working along like trying to time a spell, any of your water signs for the moon would be great times to work with this plant. Traditions plant aloe on graves of loved ones to promote a peaceful existence until reincarnation. So that's an interesting thought. And this aloe is used in the Far East. It's used in South America. It's used in Africa. I'm really not sure what culture spawned that idea of planting it on the grave, though I really can't be sure where that started. Keep a plant on your altar for spiritual protection while you're doing any kind of magic. Just having it there repels or expels negative energy or spirits. Any kind of volatile or dangerous energy would be warded off by this plant being there. It could be used for good luck in the workplace. It's used in spells to promote or enhance spirituality, period. Again, it's a lunar plant, and the moon is for mystics, right? It's used sometimes in black magic to seal lips. It could be used to promote wisdom, love, and protection. The goddess is always going to be connected to this plant because of all the babies that it produces, in my mind, in my opinion. So anytime you're working with any goddess, especially a mother goddess, then this would be a good plant to include in your spell or on your altar, your workspace. Its crystal companions would be things like rose quartz, ruby, calcite, moonstone, rainbow moonstone, even emerald. And if you were creating a spell from scratch, there are a lot of different spells you could do with this plant. You could go for like a silver or white candle. I don't have a silver. For working with any kind of deity, goddess, or doing any kind of moon or lunar work. You could go with black and the waning moon for protection or to banish negativity, that sort of thing. You could go with green for healing or for skin regrowth. Use it during the waxing moon, and this would be good for any healing, not just burns or skin regrowth. But that is where we naturally go with aloe. Blue for working with it as a lunar plant, a water plant for protection or for good luck. I've even used blue for healing myself at certain points, and it just felt like the right thing to do. And again, that would be probably for the waxing moon. And now, if you're looking at it as a spiritual aid, then I would go with purple. And this is all very basic stuff. I hope I'm not insulting your intelligence by showing you colored candles. But sometimes our minds just connect better if we see the visual. And so if you're doing psychic work or you're doing spiritual healing or any kind of spiritual enhancement with this plant or herb, it is considered an herb because it has medicinal properties. The color purple would be one to work with. And again, it's very responsive to moon or lunar magic. So I would time that probably when working with this plant, if you have time to plan, right? If you burn yourself in the kitchen and you need to use it, then obviously you don't have to wait until the full moon. You don't have to do anything that I'm suggesting. These are just suggestions. I would also say that this is a good plant. This is full moon water. It's dirty full moon water because it came from my yard, but you could use this within the spell too. So any kind of charged water that's charged by a certain kind of moon, phase of the moon, full moon, that would be particularly relevant when working with aloe. Other plants or herbs that would go together with aloe include things like lemon balm, cabbage, calamus, camphor, chickweed, club moss, cotton, cucumber, eucalyptus, gardenia, grape, passion flower, pea, peach, pear, Irish moss, jasmine, lemon, lettuce, lily, moonwort, papaya, poppy, potato, purslane, sandalwood, turnip, willow green, willow or wintergreen. And that list is just coming from Scott Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, which I'm sure a lot of you own. But I'm just trying to throw some ideas for you if you're trying to concoct a spell or potion or charm bag or something using the aloe plant. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say about aloe today. I hope I've been helpful and entertaining. And I'm probably going to go back and edit heavily the parts where I'm trying to show you the plants. I'm using my laptop to do this, and I'm probably not smart enough to figure out how to show the pictures properly using the camera on this thing. So I apologize. Well, you can see my aloe over here. See it? Look at it. It's getting some sun. All right. So I'll go back and edit it, and hopefully it'll look a little bit better. If it still turns out splotchy when you're watching this and crazy and you get motion sickness, please accept my apology. Still trying to figure out the video thing. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Blessed be. Hope you have a great week.